Hey, what's up, guys? Boy Tamara's back, and we're gonna do a little recap of elements using divs, IDs, and classes. Since some of you guys haven't made it for those classes, I'm just gonna go over this real quick. So right now we have our index page right here. This is our main page in the directory. This is just gonna be a quick overview, and then we have our browser, our Chrome right here. But let's just go ahead and open this file into Chrome just to see what's going on. It's going to be blank right now, but we're going to see how we open that in Chrome. So what we want to do is find the folder, and I have the folder right here, and then the folder with all the code in it. So you want to just find the index page, which is right here. You can't see my right click, but you guys can right click it, and then there's going to be an option that says open with, and just open with Chrome. And then after you open it, you're going to see a blank page of Chrome on it right there, like so. So after you guys open it, it should be a blank page in your Chrome, but let's just do a quick test. And I'm just going to transition back to our old view. Okay, so this is what's going to be in Chrome right now. We have this kind of ID, but let me just put in a quick paragraph. Remember, P is for paragraph tag, and then I always open and close it immediately, so I know I'm not going to, have unclosed tags. So I usually just hit the enter key, so I can just create some space just so it's clear. So in this p tag, I'm going to say this is a test, and let's just save that file, and then let's go over to our Chrome and let's refresh it. We should be able to see that right there. Up here, you see this right here. Like, don't worry about it. This is just me just linking a font that I want that's called Railway. It just looks pretty nice. But okay, let's go over this real quick. All right, so we know block elements. Block elements take up an entire space, right? It's like paragraph tags. This is a paragraph. This is a p tag. I just call it p tag because their tags are elements, same thing. And we had a h1s, which is header one, and so forth. It goes all the way to like you know level 6 header, which is going to be pretty small. But we use this for like titling our pages or making something have like higher precedence in what you're reading. Header 6. But then below you see this right here. It says container. Um, that has a ID attribute, and it's a div element. So a div element just it's short for, I guess you can say, divider, but it's considered a block level element too. So whatever I put inside of it, it's going to take up an entire row, just like paragraphs, headers, all those H1s, H2s, and so forth did. But what's great about these is that I can add an attribute that's called ID, or I can add an attribute that's called class. So IDs are generally what I'm naming these kind of arbitrary dividers. So I can, give it some, I guess, contain some type of code inside of there. So I'm going to use a class this time since there's ID right there. And I'm going to do class equals, and let's just name this test class. And then let's create another one, another div that has an ID called test ID. The reason that I use classes and IDs, I'm gonna typically um, wrap a whole section inside of an ID, whereas class I just kind of generally give a class to some buttons or some paragraphs or other elements I'm going to use a lot. But ID generally I just want to use it to contain everything that's a part of that section. So for instance, if I have this ID and I'm going to call it left side, it's going to have everything on the left side, but I mean, we'll just say it for now. Doesn't really make sense right now, but let's just throw a paragraph tag in here. This is inside left side. This this is another element. And these are nested inside of this ID attribute called left side. So I have this paragraph that's outside of it. It's not nested inside here. See how these belong to this this element? It's nested inside there, and this is kind of just sitting on its own. This is why it's so powerful to use ID selectors and class selectors. Remember how we had an external style sheet? That's just an external file that we had styles in. Because before we just in between the head, we're gonna throw in an element that's called style, where we're gonna throw in our styles, open and closing. But I just like to keep it in a separate file instead of making our main file just have all these different styles on there, and it just makes the page look super long and unclear. Um, so before I can just do this, I can have the selector. Let's select P, the P tag, and open and close in braces. Let's open that up. So let's say that we want this paragraph. How about this H1 and this H6? So we want to select all three of those. So this is how we grab all of those. With paragraph, I'm gonna put a comma. Let's do H1s, comma, and let's do H6. Let's have this color property. Let's make it green. All right. So let's just save that right now. I'm just gonna save it, and I'm gonna go back to the browser, refresh, see how these are green. But look at this. This says this is inside left side element. This is another element. That's this part right here, right? But when I want to select an ID, I'm gonna say, hey, let me select this left side attribute for ID. So to select an ID, we do the pound sign and then type in left side. So anything inside of here will determine what's inside of this tag right here. So I'm going to say, hey, all the paragraph tags that are nested inside this ID left side, let's give this a color of red. Why I'm doing this is that maybe there's, site-wide on all your entire site, you're going to have all this text be green. That's going to be paragraphs H1s or H6s. But in a particular page, to say if it's like some banner or something like that, you want all the paragraph tags that's inside of here, that's inside of here, to have the color red. All right, so let's just save that real quick and let's see what happens. So what do you think is gonna happen? This is the first one that's outside of there, outside of the nested paragraphs. This is the second one. This is the third one. Now these ones, hopefully, we're gonna see that it's gonna be red. So let's just refresh. Boom, it's red. Let's inspect that. I'm just going to inspect this. Remember, we just right click and go to inspector. We can see what's in our HTML. I'm going to open this up. See how this is a block level element? It has the attribute of green, right? And this is another one, has green because we selected it and header 6. But then now we have this. See how it has an arrow? Because we nested elements inside there. And this one, when we open it up, all these paragraph tags are going to have red because we said, hey, the whole website, we're going to have the color of the paragraphs H1s and H6s be green. But in this case, anything that's nested inside left side, let's make them red. So that's just kind of a quick overview of that. Now let's say that when we introduced the word class, that's an attribute too. So I'm going to do class equals, I don't know, let's just call it purple. Save. Let's go back up here to our styles. And then to select an attribute, class attribute that's called purple, we're going to use a period, and then we're going to say purple. Open and closing braces. We selected any attribute class that has the word purple. The period indicates class, remember, and the pound indicates ID. So purple, let's just say color purple. I'm just going to save that. Um, Even, it looks kind of, ridiculous that I'm saying, oh, all the paragraphs are this color red, and then I just gave a paragraph a class attribute and did purple for it. But I mean, again, this is kind of generally how we're using it. So what do you think is going to happen? This is the first paragraph, and this is the second paragraph, but it's nested inside of left side. this paragraph should just stay red, but this one should be purple because we gave it a class purple. And then in the style declaration, we said let's select the class, period, class purple, and then we give it a color of purple. So let's go here and refresh. Oh, nothing happened. Did I spell it right? Purple, purple. Let's see. Oh, this is why right here because IDs have more precedence. So I'm gonna do this right here because it says any paragraph is gonna have red, but I just said, oh, this class is purple, but it doesn't signify how important it is. So I'm just gonna do an exclamation point, important. This says that doesn't matter what declaration has been, set. The property has been set for that element. We're gonna make this one important. Doesn't matter what it is. So I'm gonna save that, and now it's purple because if I had multiple p's in here, they're all gonna be red. But this one in particular, I gave it a class, but I want to say important. Make this one specifically whatever element this is tied to. It could be on anything really. We can say the color is purple and make it important. We can do that here too. Let's do it for the H1. Let's give it a class and let's say purple. And I'm going to save that. And what do you think is going to happen? If we go back here to our page, what do we put on? The H1, purple. This is the header 1. If I refresh, it's going to be purple. Yeah, it's purple. All right. So that's generally a quick overview of just some elements that we're going to be using and how we're going to use classes and IDs. So let me just remove all of this because I really don't want to keep them in here. Okay, just to clean things up. All right, so let's just delete all of this too. Okay, let's save this file again. It should be a blank canvas. Okay, cool. All right, so the next video we're going to go over how we're going to use the components and what the styles actually mean line by line. Okay, thanks guys.